I don't doubt for one moment that Robert Conrad was one of the toughest guys to ever act in Hollywood. There is absolutely zero doubt in my mind about that one. As I grew up, over and over I would see him in roles that reinforced his macho guy image. That said, apparently Mr. Conrad has finally met his match in the form of the Grim Reaper, who came knocking on February 8th. I'm not sure if there is an official cause of death yet, but a couple of news outlets are reporting heart failure. Conrad's career was indeed a long and lengthy one. I'm not going to talk much about Hawaiian Eye or his singing career. That stuff all happened when I was too darn young to care about much at all. But they are notable, so there you go. I am mentioning them, but that's it. Let's move on to the more important stuff. And at the top of my list of the important stuff is this TV show. Man, I loved Wild Wild West with government agents Jim and Artie. I've talked about this show before, but I just love it so much. CBS ran the show from 65 to 69, but I really grew to love the show during syndication. It was on our first UHF station out here in Utah in the late 70s. For those of you who haven't seen this show, let's just say it was the role that Robert Conrad was destined to play. Quite frankly, Robert Conrad is James West. No one else could ever play the character better. And in the mid-70s, Conrad again found success with Baa Baa Black Sheep, which ran on NBC from 1976 to 1978. In the show, Conrad played legendary tough guy World War II fighter ace Pappy Boyington. According to Wikipedia, the show's success led Conrad to win a People's Choice Award for Favorite Male Actor and a Golden Globe nomination for his performance. Although I did enjoy Black Sheep Squadron, there was another show after that, A Man Called Sloan. It ran on NBC during the 1979 television season, and the series took the best elements from shows like The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Mission Impossible, and Conrad's own Wild Wild West. From everything I've read, it seems like it was one of the more expensive series produced during that season, but it failed to gain an audience and was canceled after just 12 episodes. A Man Called Sloan also has the honor of being the very last TV show ever produced by the legendary Quinn Martin. And around the same time, Conrad was a staple on Battle of the Network Stars, where he served as the captain of the NBC team on 6 different occasions. Wow. Just looking at that team, I don't know if they won or lost that year, but holy cow, they seemed poised for victory. You got Buck Rogers, Wilma Deering, Half Pint, and her ma, along with BJ. How could they not win? Another thing that I fondly remember from the late 70s were Conrad's television commercials for Ever Ready batteries. I love how he would put that battery on his shoulder and challenge the viewer to knock it off. That is what he was doing, right? And in the late 80s, Conrad would star in a television show called High Mountain Rangers. The series was inspired somewhat by Conrad's volunteer work that he did with a local search and rescue team. The show was fun for Robert because he was able to star with his sons, and his daughter had a hand in producing the show. Beginning in 2008, Conrad hosted a weekly 2-hour national radio show on the CRN Digital Talk Radio Network. I think it's interesting that Conrad turned out to be just as adept behind the microphone as he was in front of a camera. End of the day, this man was a showman and an entertainer, and he always found new ways to do that. One of the things that Robert Conrad was not shy about was expressing his opinion about the late 90s remake of Wild Wild West. This particular adaptation wasn't something that he was extremely proud of, and quite frankly, it's easy to see why. Despite a quality cast, the movie version, in my opinion, is a rather uninspired ripoff, designed to make a quick buck rather than trying to stand alongside as a companion to the classic TV series. On the flip side, something that Conrad was extremely proud of was his work in the 1978 miniseries Centennial, where he starred in the first installment as a wily fur trapper who was able to broker deals with many different Native American tribes in this adaptation of Michener's sprawling epic. Another thing that he took a great deal of pride in is this. Folks, Robert Conrad has entertained us for more than half a century, and along with that, he was a guy who never said no to any stunt that was put in front of him. For that reason, he was inducted into the Stuntman's Hall of Fame, and you know what? It was well deserved. And while I like to focus on the positive in these videos, I do feel like it's important to at least mention the car accident that Conrad was in due to his driving while intoxicated. The repercussions from that poor decision were enormous, along with a criminal conviction, substantial fines, and a financial settlement with the family of the victim in the other vehicle. Conrad dealt with some pretty severe health challenges of his own due to the accident. Obviously, the image above is a bit of tabloid sensationalism. Find the worst picture you can and run some sort of crazy headline about the celebrity in question. The tabloids knew how to clickbait someone before it was even a thing. Anyway, you get my point. It was a poor decision, one that I believe Conrad regretted to his dying day. So that's it. One last picture. Let's go with Conrad and his old pal Ross Martin. Like I said, I really loved that show, and these two, well, they were just so darn good together. Alright, now it's your turn. Please share your memories in the comments section, and while you're at it, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Maybe even share this video on Facebook or Twitter, and what the heck, why not subscribe to my YouTube channel? I talk about music, movies, and television, mostly from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.